Prime Minister is an arrogant prick.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
There, I've said it. So sue me.
On BlastTheRadio.com. I still can't help but wonder just how good that must feel for Lowell Green after all those years in conventional radio to be able to say the word prick. By the way, Sandria Blench is with us. Hi, Sandria. You can say prick if you want. Say prick.
Prick.
I mean, right?
I take great joy in saying that,
right?
Actually.
Doesn't it feel good just to be able to let loose on that? Hi, listeners.
Dance music?
This is the funny thing. So let me just backtrack for a little bit. For the listeners, this is my friend Sandria Blench. Sandria and I met because you hauled me in to work on your podcast because you do a shit ton of podcasts. Yeah, overwhelming. But it's amazing to me, just getting to know you like I have, that you and I really don't remember having met before. And we have to have, because you spent a lot of years working at the same clubs I was working at. So, I mean, you
Absolutely.
were like you were there in the Spankies days and the RJ's days and Yucatans and On Tap and Hula Hands and...
On Tap for sure. And RJ's, yep, I definitely was. Those were some pretty fun days. $1 shooters, $1.25 shooters.
Oh my God.
They were a little different then.
The Jello shooters at On Tap.
Yes.
Knocked me on my ass every time.
Yeah, they had knocked most people on their asses, actually.
Man, oh man, oh man. Anyway, you've moved on from your bar scene. I've moved on from the bar scene. We're both adulting sort of kind of these days in different paths. So, yeah, one thing that you are certainly doing is this podcast. We're going to get to that. But the other thing that you do is interior design. And that's kind of why we brought you on, especially with, well, A, it's the weekend. And a lot of folks tend to take things apart, get going on projects on the weekend, and then they look at it and they're like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. It's not looking like I want it to look like. But also, with Christmas coming up, a lot of folks looking for just design ideas for Christmas. Where do you want to begin with all of this?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me this, so I thought of the time of year.
I didn't know I was going to ask you this.
Canada. So I got a bunch of different ideas for people to do for weekend projects. I can go through them. The easiest one to start with, it's a change of seasons. Why not change your front entryway? Time to decorate your front entryway. It's very simple. You can either do it with lights or with garlands, or you can do, a natural snowman if you wanted. There's so many things that you can do to just freshen up even a new mat at your change of seasons, a Merry Christmas one or Happy Hanukkah. That's a really great thing to do, a front entryway. Also, tackle your Christmas tree. Christmas trees are something that you can do. You can give everyone a section. The little kids can have the lower section with the non-breakable items. And then you can have the more precious things higher up on the tree, having the older kids put it on. So there's a bunch of new ones. Also, simple things to do is your faucets. Everyone has those faucets.
We're talking faucets for Christmas? Or faucets in general?
Faucets for Christmas even, because changing the brass out of your house is something that updates your house very easily. So you can change doorknobs, you can change sink, faucets, things like that, and that updates your home, and it's a really easy thing to do, not that costly.
But is it, Sandria? I mean, I can handle, basic plumbing, but I know a lot of people get really intimidated by it, especially, and I don't know why builders still do this to this day. Why do they not put shutoff valves underneath every single sink? Why do you have to turn the whole freaking house off just to change a faucet?
It would blow my mind, the things that I've seen. I've seen people reuse the same plug and put it on another house because it's cost efficient. So, I mean, you got to really check what plumber you're hiring, what company. Be sure that they're actually reputable and you can check up some of the work that they've done. But it's pretty crazy. I stand by you on that one. I've seen some wild things.
That's all I want. And by the way, if you ever buy a house that I've lived in, rest assured, every single sink will have shut-off valves. It's a simple thing. Like, if I want to change the fixture anyway, I'm putting a damn shut-off valve so I can just work on the damn sink and not have to, inconvenience the whole house. It's such a simple thing, and it's like a $4 part.
But here's the good question. Do you have your hot and cold on the right area?
I do have them on the correct side.
That's a very common one, where the hot goes on the cold and the cold goes on the hot.
Makes me
oh my God.
batshit crazy. My brother's kitchen My brother's kitchen is reversed, and every time I'm over at their house, I'm like, "Can I just change this for you?" Oh no!
Yeah.
And I mean, he knows what he's doing too. He's a hell of a
He's
rental
used
guy.
to it.
He will not reverse the hot and the cold.
He's used to it. That's the thing, is like some people think it's too much of it is a big deal, but it's really not that hard to switch a faucet. Also, changing lighting is another really, really easy thing to do. You can get new lights and change lighting, even if, update your things or change your bulbs. Change your bulbs from the old school bulbs to a more cost efficient bulb around your house to save you long term energy wise.
But
That's
you know
a
what?
good one.
The bulbs is interesting because, like in photography, we deal with color temperature. And I'm sure you do that in design as well, right? Like the color, like different bulbs emit a different color. And it's like daylight is considered blue. Your sunset is considered more yellowy. And so the incandescent bulbs of the past are on the yellow-orange side. Like if you've ever gone to a restaurant and taken a picture of yourself or a friend across the table, and it looks orangey and red.
The Edison bulb.
Yeah. And now, like I've been switching out to some of these LED bulbs, which are a much, much brighter white. Takes a lot of getting used to, but boy, do you sure appreciate the extra light from those.
And you have to see which ones you like, because in our family, we actually all like different lights. I happen to like a warmer light, and my mom likes a warmer light. My husband likes a cooler light. So you kind of got to really play with the lighting in your room and have dimmers, have things that can change the light based on the mood or the time of day, or if it's a dreary day like it is outside today, you might want to warm up the colors of your home.
I mean,
so
I like a red light in the bedroom. Is that weird?
No, I have a pink one, so it's okay. And our fireplace changes, so.
Oh, nice. But I mean, I'm kidding. But the whole red light in the bedroom thing, which is something I learned doing boudoir photography, that color of light is so flattering.
It is. It really is.
So
it's a sexy, warm vibe that everyone loves.
Everybody looks really, really hot.
So now, speaking of colors, that's a really good one too. Painting. Painting is a super, super easy thing to do.
No, it's not, though, Sandria. No, it's not.
It is. You can
it's
paint
not.
furniture.
Paintings,
you can even buy stencils.
No, painting's easy. Edging ruins the whole thing for me.
Yes, that is very true. So you have to have a partnership then. You have one person that does the edging and one that does the rolling. So you can pick a room, I suggest, see your skills on that room, and then go from there. If you happen to have skills at painting, you can save yourself quite a bit of time. And it is a good workout at the same time if you like it. So that's a good one.
I hate it. And you know what I really hate? And while we're shitting on builders, can we stop with the stippled ceilings?
Oh my God, the stipple ceiling, that is not a weekend project, first of all, because most stipple ceiling has asbestos in it.
Really?
So most of it, a lot of asbestos is in stipple. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the year of your home. Of course, you can be lucky and not have stipple if it's usually after like 82, 83, but prior to that, you have to watch out.
Wow.
So if you do have stipple, your options are to cover it with more plaster, and then that way it kind of forms a barrier that way.
But then you're dropping your headspace by about a 1/4 inch, though, right?
Absolutely. So then the other option is to have it sanded off, and that is, if you want to do that on a weekend project, good luck to you. You'll want to die. I had 2 people actually retire off of removing stipple at my house. He said, that's it. He goes, this is the last project I will ever remove stipple. And
I mean, the reason builders do it is because it saves, like drywall is tedious. Taping and then plastering and smoothing that all out and making it look seamless is some work. They do it on the walls. But then the ceilings, this just in the interest of being in and out of the house quickly, they spray this popcorn stuff on it, which hides all the flaws when they walk away. But then you have to go and paint the damn thing. And it's just, and I've tried every roller I can possibly find. Oh, this is perfect for a stippled ceiling. And it's not.
Get rid of the stipple.
It's not.
Get rid of the stipple if you can.
It just makes me drink more, Sandria. That's all.
That's common. That's very common.
I hate this stuff.
That's common. So if you're really, really ballsy, you can try wallpaper as well. So my suggestion is, if you're doing wallpaper, pick a very small space, pick an easy pattern that you can line up. Don't go getting something that has perfect vertical lines for your first time. Get something that's forgiving, pick a small space and try it out. You can also frame the wallpaper and make art with it. So if you find some beautiful wallpaper, you can also frame it and it
just serve as an
becomes art on
accent.
the wall. Absolutely.
Okay, here's the here's the $1 million question though. And you are an expert, so I'm deferring to you on this. Should couples hang wallpaper together?
Ooh, it depends on the couple. It definitely depends on the couple. In my case, I don't know. I think it would be a give or take thing. We'd have to see, but it depends on the couple. I would probably avoid it at most decor things unless you have a really good relationship. Decor is something that's personal, so it tends to lead to arguments very easily.
Yeah, well, I just find the whole wallpaper thing is just it just becomes contentious because, like you said, there's a lot involved, right? You've got the glue, then you've got the folding it. No, you fold. You bring your end to me, your end to me. No, you're not doing it right, and you got that, and then you got to hang it on the damn wall, and it's not hanging right, and it's crooked, and this. It just Anytime I've done wallpaper, it's amazing. That I haven't had to go to a divorce lawyer afterwards.
Yeah, they do have peel and stick now, which is simpler. They have good options for children's rooms and things like that. I haven't really found too many peel and stick ones for general rooms, but for kids' bedrooms, those are really easy to apply. And
does it stay on the wall very easily?
It stays on the wall. It's durable and it's easy to remove as well. So when you're changing the decor, you can put decals. So if you're not looking to put an actual border that's going to remain like a Disney motif or something, you can stick it on, and then, a year later you take it off and you repaint your wall or you leave it the original color, and it works that way.
I've done a fair bit of home reno. I've not worked with that. Is that obviously something fairly new? Does it leave any sort of residue on the wall, or is it fairly...
It doesn't, unless you're obviously like a smoker or somebody that's using grease and things like that. Then you'll see the discoloration in the wall where
just weird things with red light bulbs is about as freaky as I get.
As long as there's not oil that's being thrown on it, you should be okay. Or some foams, or I don't know what.
How well do you want to get to know me, Sandria?
Well, John, I had quite a design project in Riverside South. I had to design a secret room in the basement quite an interesting one, which attaches to a guest bedroom through a closet and goes to a secret room, which I'm sure that you would love to see.
Okay, listen. I mean, I've done some real estate photography. And there was one house, and the owner was there, and I could he just seemed really upset.
Okay.
Really upset that we were there. And the real estate agent, had warned me that this is a very particular client. And then I kind of turned left when I think he wanted me to turn right, and I could see his, as you say, secret room.
Wow. And how was that room?
Well, he went completely like white as a ghost. The color just drained from his face. And I said, "Oh my God, your cross is purple. I've always wanted one."
Beautiful. Perfect. So you sold the house. You got the house.
I mean, just the relief. The guy was just like, "Oh, okay."
I'm not being judged.
Yeah. So he let me in. He's like, "Would you photograph it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Not for the listings, though." I'm like, "No, just for you." He's, "Thank you." He says, "We've been so dreading having to get rid of this room when we move. I want to keep it for." So that's awesome. Oh my God. So you designed one, did you?
Designed it. Yes. They asked me if I had any issue with it. I said, "Well, I'm not sleeping with you." So I said, "I don't care what you do." I said, "Of course." I said, "But some things I'm not aware of. So you're going to have to teach me certain, things that you need on your walls and ceilings and supports and stuff like that." So I learned about a whole interesting gamut of things that I had never known about before.
How much? And I know,
some I did, obviously, but not, there was a lot of learning involved.
Yeah, you're the design expert, but you're not, you're not a complete expert on everything. So you go and you find the right people to consult with.
Absolutely. And I did.
Can you reveal, I know you don't want to reveal too many secrets about particular clients, but can you sort of walk us through the room?
Yeah, I can. So basically it's a completely regular suburban home, and they
always are
family. It's a family, normal family with children and everything. Been married a while, and the decor is extremely traditional in the home. And then you walk downstairs and they commonly have guests sleep over. So when they have their regular parents-in-law and stuff like that sleep over. They want the room to be hidden. So basically, you walk through the living room into what looks to be a bedroom with 2 queen-size beds in it, so like a hotel room.
It's a large
And the
room.
reason,
Wow.
yeah, so it has 2 queen-size beds in it, and actually has the ability to become one large bed. So the bed actually converts into like almost like a ginormous mattress the size of the bed by lifting up the middle one. So there's enough for a twin to go in there, and that lifts up and it becomes this ginormous bed. Then you go through the closet. So the main closet has, regular storage, and we put, certain items around with a hidden door so that the door has a shelving unit on it. And you open the shelving unit and then you walk into the dungeon. And you walk in, and it's one wall has all of the items that you could use for your desires.
So we're talking a bondage room, right? Like we're talking
serious.
like
Bondage,
right out of 50 Shades of Grey.
More than 50 Shades of Grey.
Nice.
It's intense. They spent a fortune on this room. Like, this is their lifestyle.
Listen,
this is something they're going to do. They've been doing it for years. It's their marriage and they love it. And so this is a lifestyle for them.
Listen, that is an expensive lifestyle. I mean, outside of, look, you see the occasional thing pop up and, Wish pushes, something on your Facebook feed, like a $3 riding crop or something like that. Sure. But then you get into some of the furnishings.
Very expensive, shockingly
expensive,
and how to find them too, and like even sourcing some of these things is hard. They get sold out.
If you need a source for custom cages or any sort of ironwork, I'm not your guy, but I know a guy who knows a guy.
Okay, good to know. I'll keep that in mind if ever they recommend me for their friends. Which. Who knew, right?
We went down a whole path I didn't intend to go down, but okay.
No, me neither. Interesting, though. So then there's other things we can talk about doing on the weekend, like changing your fireplace mantle. That's a good one.
Changing your fireplace mantle.
Yeah, decorating the mantle. So you know how you have the mantle different seasons. So coming the holidays, you could start doing
I thought we were taking the mantle like right off the fireplace here.
You could do that, but that's a deeper that's a bigger project.
This is what I was saying.
No. Just decorating the mantle, decorating it with nutcrackers or Santas, or you could do a nice urn, or you take out different family members' pictures that unfortunately most aren't visiting for the holidays, but you can take them out so that they could be present in the room, like have grandma and grandpa's picture on the mantle because they're not going to be there, or have your aunt and uncle, sister, brother, so that everybody feels like even though you're not spending time with them and you're having your Zoom calls, they're still with you in the room. Yeah. So that's a nice one.
For the person who doesn't necessarily have that eye, like I look at some of the stuff that, you and other designers create, and this is just such an intuitive thing. Like you've got that visual sense. You've just got this will go nice.
Visual.
And if I'm someone who struggles with that, how do I even like get into the mindset of even attempting to make that beautiful mantle?
You can call me, first of all, and then what you do is you do what feels good. What do you like? You can't go wrong with things you like. So if you happen to love skiing, grab some skis, get some decorating, put that up. Grab, if you like snow globes, grab snow globes. Get what you like. You can't go wrong with decorating with things that you enjoy looking at and that feel good in your room, especially for the holidays. So then there's also, you can do bigger projects like backsplashes. That's a big one that you probably have tackled in your house.
I have, and it's such a nightmare because especially if you're going to rip off the existing tile because it takes the drywall with it. It's miserable.
Absolutely. You pray that there's not existing tile work there because that makes the job a lot easier.
I pray that the world's worst handy person is the one who did the tiling.
Yeah, so they just pop right off.
Yep.
Love that.
Never happens that way. I gutted the main bathroom upstairs years ago, took the tub out, and took all of the tiles off that surrounded it.
Wow.
That, people don't realize this about tile, that's a chore.
Oh yeah.
That is they don't just pop off, and when and if you start going the pop off route, you end up with a drywall mess, and you can't really retile over all the damage you've done to that drywall. So what I ended up doing is just the simple thing. I just cut the whole damn drywall out.
Smart. Actually, you know what? That's sometimes way easier than
It
trying
ended
to
up being that
patch
way.
little things.
It ended up
And
being
you know
that
what?
way.
It's not that expensive to just grab a new piece of drywall and put it up.
Well,
So,
fortuitously, we ended up taking the tub out and putting a shower in, so it's a complete walk-in shower. So we needed to have that replumbed
waterproofing and
anyway.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But
So
like
then,
in a kitchen surround, I mean, that's okay. So that's such a tight space. I'm not taking the cabinets out. I'm not taking the countertop off. I just wanted to do the backsplash. I mean, if the drywall's coming with it, is that a very straightforward
that's
drywall repair?
That can and cannot be. So you have to really check your surrounding. When I say do like a backsplash tile for a weekend, I'm talking about doing it when there's no tile there. So potentially do it in your bathroom, potentially do it where, that's not so involved. But when
Okay.
you're talking about drywall repair from removing a tile,
That's a whole
you're
other
looking at a
conversation.
few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you have to mud, you have to let it dry, you have to sand it, you have to put your prime, you have to do all these different steps. So then you're talking different things. But if you're just looking to update stuff, they have stick-on tiles, they have grout tiles. You can do your bathroom, try a small area first, check your skills out, move to a large area.
So this is a really hot real estate market in Ottawa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'm hunting for properties right now.
right. I know you are, and it's I had a friend the other day say that she's putting her house on the market. The first day that it was available, 59 showings.
Huge.
59 showings. What is your advice to people who are thinking of selling in this market right now, whether they're moving, they've actually found another place fortuitously, or they're moving somewhere else, but they're going to put their house up for sale? Is it worth investing in some home improvement, or at this point, really?
Yes, absolutely. Because people want to buy pretty things. So when you go into a house, you're going to look and you're counting dollar bills. I know myself, when I go look at a house, I go, okay, is the roof done? Are the windows done? What's the flooring like? And I'm literally adding dollar bills.
Yep.
So if you eliminate these things and you have a beautiful kitchen that looks, Subway tiles right now can be 69 cents. You can do a beautiful backsplash Subway tile that is going to last forever, timelessly, never goes out of style. And you've updated your kitchen. Countertops are cheap. That's not cheap, but that's something that you can do that is worth doing. You're going to get your investment back. Potentially not if it's a townhouse, but if you're looking at a single family home, upgrading to a quartz or granite, that's huge too. But flooring, painting is number one. Paint.
Paint. And neutral, or can you be a little bold?
Neutral, you're painting what everybody else likes. You're not painting for yourself anymore. You're painting to sell the house. So you're doing a base so that they can come in and put their specific touches too. So paint a neutral color, like a light beige, a light gray, a light white, something that everyone likes. So then they can take their accent pieces and plug it into the space. If you start painting like a bright red wall or a bright blue here, and that's not the person's decor, they're already thinking, oh, I don't like the room. I got to change it. That costs this much money. And sometimes if they don't have a vision, they just walk right back out because it's not move-in ready and blah, blah, blah. So you try to make it depersonalized, clean, clutter-free, like you cared for the home. That's a big one too.
But that is such a challenge too, isn't it? Because I've worked with so many real estate agents, and that's exactly the thing. And whether you watch HGTV, DIY Network, any of these home improvement shows, when it comes to selling, that is what they say. You need to depersonalize your space. But that becomes such a challenge for so many homeowners who just, I don't know if it's that they don't get it or that they don't, things that they look that mean so much to them, they can't see how off-putting that can be to someone else. How do you, as a designer, when you're working with someone, open their mind to that? Like, okay, so I've hired you to come in and tackle a few projects and overhaul a few things in my house because I'm going to put it on the market. And now you're looking at like my microphone collection and you're like, like, John, hey, that speaks to you. But the next person through, or like they're coming downstairs and I got like a whole radio studio in this place. Like there are a lot of people who look at that and they can't get their head past that this is a radio studio. I mean, it used to be a storage room, but I know people would walk in here and they go, oh, but there's that padding on the walls and stuff, and I would have to deal with that. I mean, it's not even stick on. It's framed in like it's a nothing project. But that's enough to turn a lot of people off, isn't it?
It is. But the thing that I tell people is Do you want to make the most amount of money possible? So how long are you planning on having your house up? Why don't you try this method? The number one thing I say is you don't have to remove everything that's personal. People know you're living in the house, but remove clutter. If people think that your house can't handle you and what you have in it, then they automatically think, ooh, this might be too small. This might be they're trying to hide something, this, that. So declutter, declutter, declutter. One family picture is fine here and there, things like that. But if you're having like your beer mugs from Germany up on the wall, maybe people don't want to see that. And there's different variants.
Yeah.
Canada's a very multicultural country. We have a lot of people that have different views, strong views about different things. So you're trying to remove any views to the home that are other than positive, and that the people can walk in, take over, and it becomes their space. It's not your space. They're looking for their space.
Yeah, I mean, if you're selling your house, you really have to allow yourself to just accept the fact that, at this point, everything is going into a box. Everything is going into storage. This is going to get set up in my next house. The plan right now is I'm just living here until I can get that big check.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
But so many people they can't. They just, I still got to live here. I still got to see my things, and
And an easy way to help people with that is one of the weekend projects. You can tell people declutter. Pick a room every weekend in your house and make it spotless. Pick a closet like your front door.
I haven't got a hope in hell when it comes to that, Sandria.
Or even getting all your Tupperware, collecting all your Tupperware lids and all your Tupperware containers and making sure they all match, put them in the drawer. That way it's easy in the mornings when you have multiple kids grabbing containers, you have the lids.
Where's the sport, though? Where's the sport? Where's the adventure?
Oh, there's adventure with 4 kids. That's the adventure. That's the adventure. So then also there's, go through your medicine cabinet, go through all your old medicine, get rid of what you don't need, things like that. Your pantries. If you have tins that you haven't used in forever, you might want to check if they're still good. Yep. And 2, if you don't use them, give them to the poor for the holidays. Purge what you don't need. Go through your old clothing and make it a double duty. Have your kids get rid of all their old toys and clothing on the weekend and go together and bring it to donate somewhere. Make them feel good about doing it.
So here's what fascinates me. Now we're going to get personal. Here's what fascinates me in the short time that I've gotten to know you, and you and I have been working together now for about a month. Okay. Yeah. And I've had the good fortune of being in your beautiful home with your beautiful family. You and I are both very busy professionals. We have a long roster of clients that we work with, and we have everyday lives. The difference in how you are able to function and I am able to function is astounding to me. I am overwhelmed by just how busy and how many things you seem to get accomplished in your day. And I am just one of these people that everything just seems to take me, like you say, I want to clean out a room. That will take me, I will start that on the Saturday. I'll be into it on the Sunday. And by the time dinner time rolls around on Sunday, I'm now looking at this thing going, why did I even start this? I've just created a bigger mess for myself. Meanwhile, there's Sandria. She's, taken her kids here. She's done some Christmas shopping. She's done decorating for a couple of clients. She's done this in her kitchen. How do you do this?
I love to live a full life. And, I live by the belief that tomorrow isn't promised to me. And, once you have a lot of some losses in your life, you really realize
you gotta sleep,
live
Sandria.
your full life. I do.
When?
On vacation, sometimes.
On vacation, sometimes.
I sleep a little, but no, I prefer to do things. Like I love writing lists and I love having diversity and variety. I would die if I was doing 9 to 5, the same thing. That would be my end all be all. That would be my depression. So for me, doing a lot of different things and being involved in different variety of things, that's what makes me happy.
So I show up at Sandria's house. It's newly renovated, so you've just expanded it. And then I walk in the front door, which is a brand new door, and there's drywallers, and there's electricians in there, and there's painters, and you've got, 4 kids?
Yes.
In the house?
Yeah, 3 biological and then 1 adopted. Yep. Yeah. It's really
and then
fun.
You got your doggy. I love your doggy. Yeah. And then hubby shows up with a couple more kids in tow. Your mom is in there. And then there's John setting up his little podcast studio, and you're bringing in guests left, right, and center, and it's just,
Safely with masks.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, yes. Sorry, yes, no.
Yes.
Boy, that was sounding bad for you, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
All of it, social distance, and make sure our guests are 6 feet apart. But I'm just trying to say that this is a very, very, very busy house for you.
Is.
I leave there just exhausted.
But happy.
And I
leave happy.
Yeah.
And fed.
But yes, fed. But whatever the chicken box thing you bought was so many. I didn't even realize there was chicken in it. I was still digging through the fries, and by the time I go to leave, I'm like, wait, there's chicken in here. I should have just stuck with the damn chicken. No, you're very, very generous. But I'm just saying, the energy level in that house is something else. And I mean, if somebody's looking to hire a designer and they just, because when you see it on TV, that's who these, designers tend to be. They're just these larger than life with so many balls in the air that they're juggling, and yet that energy just results in some sort of magical thing that happens. And that's kind of where I'm going with the statement that you have this crazy house, going on. Is it born of the fact that, when you get to, go to your client's house, that explosion of color or whatever that you're doing, is that just because that's where that energy gets channeled? Is that how you kind of function as a designer?
I take huge joy at trying to read what my clients aren't saying to me. So when I go and I sit down in a client's house and I meet with them, I try to see how they interact in the house, what they're doing in the house. I truly try to get to know them so that when I'm doing their design, it's not for me, it's for them exactly. And so my great joy is doing the reveal when I can bring them in and they sit there and they go, oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted, but I didn't know how to get it. That's my joy. So the joy is getting people to be on the same happy level as me. If I did that, I've succeeded.
Man, the conversations must be just...
They're interesting. Look, you've been at my house. We've had some very interesting conversations with guests that were extremely personal, that we were shocked by.
Well, yeah, but personal conversations are one thing, and I do that all the time. But I'm just imagining you standing there with a client. So you've got a couple, which instantly means you've got two opposing ideas as to what this room should be. Okay, but typically.
Yeah. Very much so.
Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're totally right.
Yeah, usually. Most of the time, they're not on the same page.
Absolutely.
Right. One or the other has got, a classic view of things, dark. And one wants more modern, light, dark, exactly.
Totally.
And so, and this is where they bring you in almost as a referee or an intermediary, where that really is the job, isn't it? You're more of a psychologist. Bingo. You need to get into each of their heads.
It's so much more than design. It really is.
Speak their language, find their particular currency, interpret this, and then make that magic happen so that both parties
are happy,
are stunned and satisfied. And I mean, and isn't that the crescendo at the end of every single decor show on TV is, oh my God, you got it perfect we both love this.
Exactly. That's what I really want. Like I would not be happy. Luckily, I haven't had that yet because I go out of my way. I go through every step. We check with the client. I say, do you like this? We go through a few options. And then by the time the design is executed, we know it's absolute perfection. And there's very little tweaking usually that happens once it's started. Because
I see stuff. When I'm going to tackle a project, I can see what it's going to look like.
Oh, that's you're special.
Damned if I can articulate that, though.
Yeah, you're special. Most people don't see that. They just see a room and then they have no idea how it's going to be filled.
And that's my honey. She's like, this is just overwhelming. I don't see what you see. I don't understand. This is gonna. You ask me what tile I like. You ask me. I don't know. And then we end up at odds. And finally it just comes down to just what, John, just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely.
And then she'll stand back and she'll go,
wow.
Oh, now I see it. I can't imagine the frustration of you doing this every single day for multiple clients. Why do you do this to yourself?
Imagine colorblind clients. I've had a few colorblind clients as well. So that's been really interesting, and trying to understand how a person sees color that's colorblind. That's been a new learning curve for me. So how they feel like warmth of a color versus shades and like different. I had one client that was partially blind, not fully blind, but partially blind. So she was trying to explain to me how she feels colors and sees colors. So for that room, we had to pick bright colors that I would never choose otherwise, but it was the only way for her to see variance in a room. So
amazing.
I did it. Yeah. So I love to learn, and people are unique and everybody's special. And I don't want the same box. I want weird projects and different projects and something that pushes my boundaries and my limitations.
So why hire a designer?
We save you money is number one. We save time and money. We cut through all the bullshit. We're the one that handles the, hiring of the construction usually, and we handle the entire build project management. So that takes a lot of stress.
Really? So you become essentially the general contractor then?
I do, yes. In a lot of my builds, there's sometimes I get hired specifically just for a design or just to pick a color or a wallpaper or furniture or whatever. But there's a lot of times where I'm doing the entire project man of the build from start to finish. So I'm hiring the electricians if I'm subbing it out. I'm hiring the plumbers, or I'm doing it with a large contracting firm like Magnolia is one that I usually refer to when I'm doing large builds or additions. I called Joey from Magnolia, and he handles the construction part and I handle the design part, and then we work really well simultaneously together. So that's the real reason, is save money, save stress. We get better deals than the general public does normally. I mean, if you're a crazy hunter and you can find these crazy deals, good for you.
Is that due?
But generally, we do.
Is that due to the fact that a lot of, and I know you're shopping beyond the big box stores. You've got relationships with, tiling companies and furniture companies that the average person wouldn't stumble upon. That you because it's your profession, you find these nuggets and you build those relationships. So are you getting better deals based on the fact that you're giving them volume business?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is either if we're spending a fortune at one store, then we're getting them lots of money, so they give us a larger discount to bring people there. Or it's also rapport, as if you have a relationship with someone. I've lived in Ottawa for, even if I've lived abroad, I've always had a home in Ottawa. So I know pretty much the entire city. So when I decided to get back into interior design, I quickly went through my contacts and I called in favors, and I said, if I contact you, what's my deal for my clients? And then I checked on which ones are the best. I've had my home to play with contractors in as testing. And I just try to get the best deals with the best quality work. That's the number one thing, is I don't want a deal if it's going to have to be redone 3-4 times. I want the best quality work. I get deals on product, but I don't want to give deals on services. The services that someone renders, I don't want to discount that. If I have a great tiler that he's charging a certain amount of money, it's because he's worth that money. Trust me. And that's why you hire him. The tiler that's half the price, there's a reason why he's that price.
Pros are busy too, right? Pros are busy. And if you want the best, you got to be patient and wait for them, and you got to pay their price. Especially, I mean, look, we talked about the real estate market we're in right now.
Yep.
These people are in demand.
Huge.
So, all right.
Absolutely.
So that's you as a designer. You've now parlayed this because you didn't have enough going on, and this is kind of where John comes in. We are trying like hell to crank out all these podcasts for you, but you've started your own podcast where it's not just about interior design. Some of them are, but you're about the whole Ottawa lifestyle
and design,
and designing your world around that lifestyle. So walk us through the premise of the podcast that you've started.
So basically, initially, it started as a piggyback from Urban Simplicity to do design videos, kind of like question and answer ones. How do you do this? What's this? Blah, blah, blah. And then it exploded into lifestyle and design, because as I was interviewing lots of guests, I saw, you need to know more. How did people get the house that they got in order to do the designs and stuff? So what lessons did people learn along the way? What's going on with people in Ottawa during COVID? What's going on with parenting, teaching, all this? So I figure, if I'm doing interior design of a home, why not put the experts to everything? Lifestyle, health, fitness, parenting, relationships, interior, exterior, you name it. So we decided that that's what we're going to do. We're going to have everything lifestyle, everything fun, everything that you want to know about in Ottawa, I'm going to have on my website. Every person that you want to know about, I'm going to get them on my website podcast, interviewing them and answering questions for you guys. And then the side part is also the interior design ones.
You did go balls to the wall when it came to the podcast. I'm still trying to catch up, and hopefully we'll have some stuff for you.
If it was too many in 3 days, that was too many.
It's more than most of my clients, but that's that's your credit, and it speaks to just who you are. But of the people you've had a chance to sit down and interview so far, and take me out of the equation, because you and I have done the interview thing. So take me out of it. Besides me, what's the most interesting thing you've learned from one of your guests so far?
I've learned from every single one of my guests, and the easy one to name off the bat was my first podcast with Leanne Laing, where she had said that the simple thing that she does before she gets out of bed every morning, before her feet go on the ground, is that she says, today is going to be an amazing day. And I believe that. I believe that if you put it in your head, you have a better chance that that day is going to be an amazing day than if you said it's going to be a shitty day.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, so that one was just a simple, basic thing. Then also time, taking care of yourself, your time for you, appreciating, where you are in your life, and understanding that it's okay to have bad days. It's okay to not be okay, because tomorrow's a better day. So this resounding mental health issues that have been going on is something that I really wanted to address with the podcast as well, and give people tools to help themselves. Also, I spoke to AC Tran, who has a podcast called Men's Talk, or AC Tran Talks, and that was on men's mental health. So I thought that was really cool, because women aren't supposed to know about these things, and they had this whole demographic of men. So interviewing him was interesting to see some books that, some guests have told me about, that talk about, the different type of man. So he talked about how, there's the alpha man, the provider, the conqueror that must have women, and all this stuff. And you see, so like I learned from everyone. The Maria, who does the furniture, about the gaming addiction, and how, that's a very common thing, and how she got into hobbying to save herself from, having a crisis at home, lots of stuff.
I love that your first answer was Leanne Laing.
Yeah.
I've worked with Leanne for some time on her podcast, which unfortunately is on the back burner now. She's been given an amazing opportunity with the Ottawa Heart Institute Foundation, and I know she's very busy with that. But her approach to life and her reasons for doing that podcast and walking away from a very lucrative TV career.
Yeah.
And for me to have been privileged to sit in on so many podcasts where, she lives and breathes everything that she is about.
That's amazing.
And this is a woman who, when she found out that there was a period of time where I was not able to afford my antidepressants, her whole demeanor changed, and she was on the phone to me, and she's like, I will go and I will get them for you. Where do just take charge kind of person. But I loved it, because even despite the fact that I've done so much work with her, and she's been in my home countless times, and she's one of the most generous friends I've got in my life. And I just it's funny. I worked in the same building as her for 20 some odd years, never knew her. And now I consider her to be one of my absolute best friends and an absolute mentor. And it's little things like what you said, how she, before her feet touch the floor, she tells herself something positive. See, this is why I love these podcasts, is because you hold on to a nugget like that. So I heard her say that. I know you just said where you took that. Right away, I have adopted, and I'm sure you've seen it if you follow me on Facebook, every single day. What do I post on Facebook? I start off with a joke. That's my spin on Leanne Laing's. And
that's beautiful.
That's a Leanne Laing inspired thing.
That's you,
right?
And I love that.
And then I like, to me, the one that stands out is Janine.
Yeah,
Janine
God,
Charon.
Janine's whole entire interview was
Her whole vibe is just
incredible.
amazing.
She's going to be back actually, maybe tomorrow, discussing the tiger method that she was discussing with us vaguely, kind of
So
just hinting about it.
for
Now
the-
we're going to start getting into her tiger method.
For
She's
my
an
so for my
incredible
for my listener here, Janine is she was a pro hockey player, wasn't she?
Yep, yep. And she
Uh,
owned the ballet bar studio in Westboro. She's been in fitness. She's a mom of two, and now she's battling. Well, she just overcame breast cancer with a double mastectomy.
and
Yeah,
looks healthy.
looks amazing.
There's a control and an assuredness in her whole being that is amazing.
She's an awesome human.
But what I mean for the listener of mine who hasn't had a chance to digest this podcast yet. By the way, OttawaDesigners.com is where you can connect with Sandria and her podcast and more to come. By the way, a lot
Thank you.
more
Oh,
to come.
yes. I can't wait.
A lot more to come, Sandria. I know. But what is her tiger method in a nutshell?
So her tiger method we're going to find out about, but it's basically how mentally you have to be present and do your best at what you're doing. Don't give up. And actually, we were asking what I learned from her. What I learned from her basically is that you have to go with your gut. She felt that there was something wrong. She felt that there was something off with her. And she went and followed up, and she saved her own life by doing that.
Because the doctors ignored her. Everything she went to the doctors with, they said, no,
it was
fine.
her that
You're
discovered
too young. You're too, yeah.
So to take the time for yourself to go take a minute, really be happy with what you're doing. Don't overwhelm yourself with things that you're not happy doing. And that's why you see me busy, but I'm busy and I'm careful what I'm busy doing. I make sure that I take time to go for a walk with my best friend. I make sure that I take time with each child to do something that they want to do. And then I also make sure to do stuff that I want. If I need, to take an extra long shower, I'll take the extra long shower. Or if I need extra time in the day, I like to wake up a couple hours before people so then I can get stuff for myself done. So it's making time for what's important to you. If the gym's important to you, make time for it. If cooking's important to you or a TV show, you need to do what's important for your happiness as well in order for you to be good to other people.
And that's just an overall life philosophy that then parlays into the professional aspect of what you do, and that is design. Sandria Blench is my guest, and you can find her at OttawaDesigners.com. The podcast is on Spotify. The podcast is on Apple. It's on Google. There's a video component to it, and you sit down pretty much once or twice a day. And now you're doing these video interviews with people as well. So you're now uploading and posting your own. What can we look forward to in the future from OttawaDesigners.com?
I hope to. We're actually going to be doing a show on Pulse Radio and as well on BlastTheRadio.com on interior design. I'm also going to be adding more podcasts with you, John the Milkman, who's produced, I guess, how many do we have now? Probably 30 in the bank. Yep. That we can put out. So there's going to be a lot of great interviews. And hopefully you and I will be doing more segments together. I can't thank you enough, actually, because you talk about mentors. You've been a huge asset to me and mentor in everything. You've helped me just upload videos.
All I did was tell you that the microphone needs to be straight up and down.
Facing this way, right? Did I do it correctly? Look, isn't it beautiful?
You're talking into the logo side. Good for you. See, I have taught you well. OttawaDesigners.com. And if people want to, see some of your work, etc., you've got another website for your design business, and feel free to plug the snot out of that.
urbansimplicity.ca. And you can reach me for any design needs on that website or on OttawaDesigners.com if you'd like to be a guest on the show or you have something interesting that you'd like me to discuss.
I love it. And Sandria, nice to finally get you on the show. Like you said, we're working in developing some sort of regular, either, having you on here regularly as a guest to talk about design, etc., or, eventually grow it into your own show. For the listener, my hope is that you start looking around your house and start, making little notes about, some of the little things that are, my tile's outdated. How do I resurface a cabinet? How do I, how do I deal with countertops? Just any of these little design questions you've got, just make a little note, because Sandria's going to be back, and we really want to engage you and have a real Q&A. And of course, what we're doing here on Blast the Radio comes with a visual component through Twitch as well. So we can even do like a show and tell kind of thing. So
Love it.
there's that.
Love it.
Sandria Blench, OttawaDesigners.com. What is next on your agenda? I'm almost afraid to ask.
Today, actually, I'm going to show a steam room design that I have at 1 o'clock.
Design.
Yeah, gorgeous steam room. It's going to be Gaudi inspired. So almost like a bathhouse, very luxurious, huge, very healthy budget. So that's going to be very nice. And that's at 1 o'clock today.
From dungeons to steam rooms and everything in between. Sandria
Exactly.
Blench. Thank you, my friend. I will be I'm sure you and I will be texting sooner, later on this afternoon. Let's get you on again real soon. This has been a delight, and I hope the listeners enjoyed this. As we work our way towards some sort of theme for lunch, I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. I'll come up with something. Thank you, Sandria Blench.